reporting to you with no bias, informing you with no exceptions. Nothing but the facts. Let's hear the truth together. We the people. We the voice. We are the news now.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and 007's channel. I'm Roxanne, the Globalist Denier, and as I said, that is 007, and we're back with another edition of Really Woke Reports Live. Now, as you know, on my channel, I started out by having conversations about these tentative subjects, whether it be the globe lie, whether it be NASA lies, whether it be the MSM's been lying, whether it's they're lying about vaccines, whether it's they're lying about chemtrails, basically trying to seek truth in whatever narrative it is we've been taught. I appreciate each and every one of you for taking the time to be here. Sorry for the delay, a few technical hitches, single mum life for me as always. I'm so sorry that we were late. But again, thank you to all of you that are taking the time to be here. We've got a few things that we want to go through this evening. Obviously, I will just keep on making a disclaimer at the beginning of this, just for anyone that's new to tuning in. I do not believe the narrative that was taught about the globe. I don't think we're on a spinning ball flying through space. I do not believe what we were taught about the moon landings. I think NASA lies to us as well. And that's just for starters. So, hello, you're right there, 007. You've been in the cogs a bit today. You've been telling me some stuff, and shout out to Dave Marsh as well, who's out there in the Canary Islands. I was in touch with Dave as well today. So we're going to be keeping an eye.
He's in the Balearics. Dave's in the Balearics, isn't he?
No, he's in the Canaries.
Isn't he?
He's in the Canaries.
He's in the Canaries. Oh, yeah, he's gone to Fuerteventura. Yes, sorry, yes.
Yeah. So we are going to keep an eye on you, Dave. Shout out to Dave Marshall. I'll be in touch with you later on. I'm going to have a little conversation.
Dave, you can get me on Skype, Dave, if you want. If you want to get me on 007 on Skype, man, you want to chat, I'd be well up for that. Yeah.
So as we've said to you before, we've got boots on the ground in certain countries where this lockdown situation is affecting, and we're going to try and bring you up to date. We've got an expert on the panel this evening with all the, what did you call it? Did you say something as a pandemic, global, some emergency?
Oh, it's the global,
good, Rich.
Coronavirus global pandemic emergency.
Right. So clearly we need an expert's advice on this, Rich. We need someone informed and an expert, someone of authority that can put us straight.
Someone with letters after his name, in fact.
Of course. And
he has
tell us what's what. Right. Yeah. So we'll be doing a little Q&A.
Whoa. Yeah.
It's all right.
Go away.
That's
okay.
Okay.
Call me.
Well, it is live streaming. Sir. It is live streaming. Sorry about that. Yeah, your camera's not on now, so you're gonna have to either come out and come back in again. You're gonna have to do something there, Rich. If you can come back out or turn it back on, or we've got a blank screen where you are.
Hello. Okay. I should be back. Can you see me now?
No, cannot.
No,
I cannot see you.
Hang on.
No, I can see Harry. I've got your image. Just click it back on. Hi, Harry. Harry, why do I keep calling you Harry?
What's up?
I keep calling you Harry.
Because his name's no Harry. It's Harry. It's no Harry Watson.
It's the middle name. I keep going for the middle one. I keep seeing Nolan Watson.
I'm just going to call him Watson. Can you see me yet?
No, we actually can't. Oh. Sorry, chat room. Sorry, everyone watching. Hello, Noel. I'll get to you before Rich comes back. How are you? Are you still standing over there in Malta? How is everything? Oh, I can't hear you. It's all good. We'll get there. Technical glitch. Somehow. No worries. You got to love live streaming. Rich, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. We're just waiting for Noel. I see. He's just going to sort out his mic issue. I'm not sure why.
We can't hear you, Watson.
Yeah, we cannot hear you, Watson. Yeah. So we're going to get to Noel as well. Okay, no worries. We're going to get to Noel in a second. But Rich, as we were just saying about Dave Marsh over there in the Canaries as well, situation seems to be speeding up a little bit in the Canaries. Can you tell us what you've been informed of since we've last been live? And we were only live last night. So nothing, when we spoke last night live, you didn't tell us there was any issues with your gigs or anything. You're just working. You were saying, this may affect us, but can you tell the chat room and everyone watching what's good now?
So when I arrived at work, I pulled into the underground car park, and it's where I park is right next to the kitchen. And the kitchen guy came out and said, "Oh yeah, have you heard? They're having a meeting tonight, and they're talking about closing down the island on Monday, 2 weeks, 15 days."
Talking about it or doing it?
Well, they're talking about basically
Last night.
basically
Were they toying with it? Or?
They're having the meeting to finalise the details. They are closing the island. Absolutely, we are shut down on Monday. All
Closed for
businesses,
business.
Right, but this is the best part, man. I don't need to go out and panic buy anything. Nobody's panic buying, right? Because the first thing they've said to everybody is all the pharmacies and all the supermarkets will remain open. So you can buy your food, you can get your medicine.
So we're just saying the leisure and tourism industry aspect of it?
Just the leisure and tourism has been shut down from Monday.
Because as far as I was aware,
all hospitality.
Flights were turned back from Spain today.
Like all hospitality, like obviously hotels will have to keep their hotel guests for the next 2 weeks. They'll have to.
Yeah.
Hey,
Okay.
putty cat.
We're just hearing from Rich. Noel, I'll bring you up to speed with that. Rich is saying, as of Monday, Spain and the Canaries and the Balearics are closed for business as far as the leisure and tourism industry is concerned. Bars, clubs, all of that good stuff is shut down as of Monday for a couple of weeks. So, Rich, this is affecting your livelihood straight away, and this is what I want to get to right now, because I feel like this is not going to just be one-offs we're going to see here. And I feel that I wouldn't actually have said to myself a few days ago that I would have thought we'd be having this conversation. But am I right in saying that tomorrow night's your last gig? Rich?
Yeah, basically. Sorry, I'm just in the chat room. Sorry.
No worries.
Sorry,
I was like, can you hear me?
I'm in my chat room. I'm just in my chat room for a sec.
Men can't multitask.
No worries. No worries.
Yeah, well, it depends what we're doing, I guess.
So, yeah, am I right in saying that tomorrow is your last gig?
Tomorrow's going to be my last gig for this foreseeable
chat room,
future.
You've definitely got his concentration, chat room. Shout out to the chat room for keeping Richard's concentration to the point where we can't conversate with him. It's all good.
Sorry.
No
okay,
problem.
I'll put that out. I was just handing out some wrenches.
Oh, bless you. Shout out to Richie's chat room, 007's channel. Shout out to everyone that's tuned into his channel as well. Yeah, tomorrow night, your last gig?
Yeah, tomorrow night's my last gig for, well, allegedly for 15 days, but who knows? I'm just going to say for the foreseeable future.
Until people start panicking enough.
That's what I'm thinking. I feel like there's a bit of a timeline that's being played out here. It feels like things are getting stretched out and done in some kind of sequence. It feels like to us there's no order to this, but every 5-10 minutes I'm hearing another country, another border. Just saw something very, very, very interesting about New Zealand. Extremely interesting regarding New Zealand. The Prime Minister, what's her name? Jacinda. She's also called on cruise ships, a major source of, in their opinion, infections, not to come to New Zealand until June the 30th. She said, and I quote, alongside Israel and a small number of Pacific islands who effectively closed their border, this decision will mean that New Zealand will now have the widest ranging, toughest border restrictions of any country on earth.
I think that's brilliant. That was
curious.
When I heard that, the first thing that popped into my mind was, I forget when it was a little while ago. All of the elites are buying property in New Zealand. We think this is where they're all going to run off and escape to when they try to cause the end of the world.
I saw a show about panic rooms over there.
Oh, yeah, I did as well, actually. Panic rooms. Yeah, you just jogged my memory on that one, though.
I think that was New Zealand, wasn't it?
I think it was that was the whole thing that stuck in my mind. Like, why New Zealand? Why would you go all the way to New Zealand to get somewhere to run away to? What's the relevance with that? I don't know if that's
And this was
resonating
like
with
I'll tell you,
anyone else.
New Zealand has got some amazing history. New Zealand is proof of travel from across the earth, basically, a long time ago, because the Maori actually came from. I think that there's some connection to the Canadians and to the Inuits, and they're the same people, the Maori and the Inuits. I think it's something like that. Please don't quote me, I might be wrong. It's something like that. I'm just going off my head, off my memory.
Huge yeah, the hideaways, the chat room, some of the chat room. But Hanks, Bill Gates has walked away as well. Sorry. Sorry.
Yeah, so
go on. Carry on, darling.
Oh no, I figured you were busy for a second because apparently Hanks and his wife are under quarantine, making quarantine mixtapes in Australia, is that right? And Bill Gates has stepped down, which is curious, isn't it?
Really? Has he really? Bill Gates has stepped
walked away.
down.
We've had another walk away, guys. Wow. Walked away. I like what Janine's written on the chat room. She says, I've heard adrenochrome was infected and the elites have been infected with the virus.
I would love that to be true.
That would be such a good movie ending. That would just be such a good.
That would be beautiful. That'd be
nice
so
one,
good.
Janine.
Hey, look on your TV. On your TV, that's like us, but we're like a virtual version of that. Everybody sat around on the sofa chatting.
I think we're a little less hostile than that room is to Eddie Bravo.
Yeah. Just a little less hostile. But yeah, we are starting to see a pattern starting to emerge. Countries seem to be ramping it up by about 30%, a bit like they did in Italy with, one area of a region and then going to shut down bigger swathes of the country. I've heard bits and pieces that have been leaked out of Whitehall all over the internet today regarding the UK, that they're looking to clamp down a lot harder from Monday. So there's, again, a mirror, a reflect of what was going on in Italy. The mainstream media weren't reporting. The information leaked that they were going to lock down certain aspects of the country, and citizens took the law into their own hands and went, I'm not waiting for the news to tell me this is happening. I've heard enough. I'm off.
Right.
I don't think that's the same. I'm not saying for a second that's what's happening in the UK. I'm just saying that's the conversations I'm having with people. People are now looking elsewhere and going, well, what does that mean for me? What would you think about that where you are in Malta? No.
I mean, I don't know. They've basically locked things down here. Today, we momentarily wanting to help Marley's grandma move a piece of furniture, and the roads were unusually quiet for a Saturday. And on the way back, we saw a long row of traffic, and we're like, I bet that's a line queuing for the groceries, for the supermarket. That's the only thing people seem to be going out for. Exactly where I am, where I live in an extremely mixed area, there's not very many locals where I am. There's a lot of very large amount of what people would call asylum folk, Africans and Libyans and what have you. They don't seem even remotely concerned. The only people I've seen concerned seem to be the Maltese, but then again, all the news here is in Maltese, so the propaganda really is only effective on the native speakers. Everyone else is sort of still in the holiday vibe. I'm not seeing any evidence of any actual sickness. I haven't, of course, been to the hospital. So, yeah, it seems to be mostly media-based. It's very possible that I'm wrong because, like I said, everything is broadcast in the native tongue and I don't speak it.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a couple of strange reports coming out today on the internet, on Instagram. I'm hearing Honduras as well. Honduras is apparently issued some country-wide red alert over the CV-19. I'm hearing, more hot countries now turning around and saying, yeah, do you know what? It's here. And all of the cooler countries have been saying, oh, well, when the hotter weather comes in, it's going to go in a lull. We normally do better in the summer. Well, then why have we got really hot countries now claiming to have it? So it just feels like
that sort
their
of
left
backs up
hand
the
doesn't know.
5G thing, I guess. But are these countries
Again,
that have 5G in place?
Again, I'm not too sure. I think this is where it's helpful to have a chat room here. Thank you to each and every one of you that are in there. We're going to get to you in a second. So if you have any 2 cents worth about what we're saying, because I'm just seeing, I'm basically saying what I'm seeing. And I'm asking you guys, is there validity to that? Because this is what I'm seeing. It's definitely what we know that MSM's not reporting. They're just putting out the same brainwashing jargon that they've always done, fear-mongering at its best. You know, I think their best aim is to even get people like us to believe it. I think they want to ramp it up so that it's... Sorry, Diane, go on.
No, I was going to say Call for an Uprising, who I normally find to be a little bit fear-mongery, did a really quite insightful piece on it tonight. You know, he was laying pretty heavily on Hanks and the way all the celebrities have sort of... How many celebrities do we know who've contracted this virus, and yet no one seems to have a family member or a friend who's contracted it? It's just the famous people with big audiences who seem to be getting infected. And so Call for an Uprising. He's a little bit doomsday, but you know, I think his heart's in the right place. And his one today on his one today.
I'm subbed to him. I love his beginning. I love his intro.
His intro is brilliant. Yeah,
I love his intro.
Baphomet in the balls.
yeah.
It's a very good intro.
Yeah, I did. I've watched a lot of his content as well, I'll admit. Guys,
he's more doomsday than I like, but
yeah, it's because he's biblical paradigm. He's very firmly entrenched in the biblical paradigm. So
I think also he gets heavily trolled. So he's always coming from this sort of really ticked off state when he's like, look, another scenario where they're on a black and white tile floor. Look, another scenario where someone's doing the 666 or whatever else, and people obviously troll him for this instantly because he just sounds so bitter.
Yeah,
we've got Mr. Dave Marsh in the chat room as well. As I said, we gave you a shout out. We hope you're doing all right. Let us know in the chat room how you're doing. We're going to keep in touch with you and make sure that you are up to date with everything that's going on, Dave. So shout out to you. And I do hope, despite it all, you're enjoying your holiday.
Yeah, and Dave, I just want to say again, man, I would actually be really interested in speaking to you. I'd love to have a chat with you, mate. So if you can find me on Skype and just give me a shout, that'd be awesome.
Cool.
1 second.
No worries, my darling. No worries. See, Daddy cool in full action. So that gives me an opportunity, Rich, to get into the chat room, which I'd like to delve into. I'd like to give a shout out to Pilton Pop, Deborah, Dolly Daydream. Awesome. You are literally on fire tonight, girl. You just keep flinging them red pills in that chat room. Go on, girl. Dolly Daydream in the chat room. She's a content maker. Give her a sub as well. In fact, while I'm here, all of the content makers that are in the chat room, could you do me a favor and hit 1, just so that other people that are viewing can familiarize themselves with other content makers? They may be looking at you in the chat and not knowing that you put content out. And I feel that we're missing an opportunity there, because you're all awesome people, selfless, awesome people that have given yourself to the truth in some of the most humbling ways possible. So yeah, please do pop a 1 in the chat room so that we can all see so that we can all see that you're a content maker. Coffee Paul, lovely to see you in there. Dave Marsh, as we said, lovely to see you too. Maggie Ray, Malev, lovely to see you as well. Nikita, thank you so much for being here as well. Kieran, Martin, Ellen, Zenith, lovely to see you too. Dave Paul, Vertec, see you tomorrow, Vertec. I think it's going to be raining, and I'll get to that in a bit. We'll need some waterproofs for tomorrow. Mark Cooper, James Aldbridge, Feather Bear, Astro King, lovely to see you as well. Reverend Hull, fantastic to see you too. Further up the list, Sally Horn, Marilyn Wisby. Yep, follow the money, honey. Well said. Absolutely well said. I think I said it already. Maggie Ray, Feather Bear, lovely to see you too. Tomashino, excellent to see you in the chat room as well. Lee Brogan too, lovely to see you as well. 5 Artists Liberaris, fantastic to see you too. Thank you so much for being here. Jesse, great to see you too.
I shared 5 Artists Liberalis video. It's done a funny coronavirus.
Oh, he's got some great content.
I don't know if it's a he. I'm not sure if it's he or she. So I just been saying, please sub to the channel.
Yeah.
They have. Sorry, 5.
No worries.
5.
Also to Esh News as well in the chat room. Apparently Benjamin Netanyahu is making a speech now, so we'll see. He'll keep us updated on what the outcome of that is. But if you look at what
Shout out Edge News.
yeah, if we just tally up with what Jacinda said regarding New Zealand, I think it's quite funny how she pulled Israel into that sentence when she said alongside Israel.
Strange, isn't it?
She said alongside Israel and a small number of Pacific islands who have effectively closed their border. They're talking about that in relation to the decision they've just made with New Zealand.
I wonder which Pacific islands they were.
Well,
I wonder if St James, the island of St James, has closed its borders.
I'll tell you.
And Necker Island. I wonder if Necker Island must have been affected, even though he was flying his planes.
I'm having that funny twitchy thing with my eye. My eye is going like this. Janine was talking to me about it the other day. It's like proper going. I'm like trying to hold it down. Sorry if you see me aggravating my eye.
You got somebody to tell. Are you really an alien wearing a?
It's falling off, Rich. It's falling off. Sorry, guys. I'll just come off camera for a sec. No, I'm joking. To all the other people in the chat room as well, Amanda Panda, Vertec, Richard Lopez, lovely to see you as well. Who else is in there? Ricardo, Jane of Torquay, awesome. Truth Seeker, lovely to see you as well. The Astral Thief, great. Effie for all, lovely to see you as well. And have I missed anyone? WW Ocean, Sonny C, Pilton Pop. I think
I'm trying to work out Sonny C as my mate Sonny. Is that Sonny? Is that you, man?
It might be.
You'll know what to say. If that is you, you'll know exactly what to say. And then if it is you, I'll give you a wrench.
Oh,
if it's who I think it is, I'll give you a wrench.
Cool. So we want as many opinions from you guys as possible. I've sent a link out to our very, very expert guest that we're going to have on today for a Q&A. So if you've got any worries, fears or concerns about anything that mainstream media is telling you, and you want some helpful, usable advice for when this reaches your doorstep and you're quite shocked at how the infrastructure has changed, our expert will be here to alleviate all your worries and give you some comfort and reassurance that, you know, it's not anything to fear. So, yeah, shout out to our very expert panel guest.
He'll tell you the truth about the masks. He'll tell you the truth about the hand cream. He'll tell you the truth about everything.
Yeah,
to do
the lot.
Contagion.
Yes, exactly. So that's something that we've got coming up. Another thing that I came across today as well was that while I find it, you're gonna have to let me come back to that. Sorry about that. I'll yield the floor. Rich, what would you like to say? I need to find a little bit of information. This is what you love about Roxanne. She's not professional. Just lost a little bit of information.
Okay, well, what I can do. Hey, this is good. This gives me an opportunity to share with you my experience today in Los Cristianos.
Ooh.
Los Cristianos is the village next to Las Americas. And it's somewhat quieter than Las Americas.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a different caliber of person that goes on holiday there. But as soon as we arrived, it was noticeable. And while we were out, actually, no. Do you know where I noticed it first?
Where?
Was Grand Sur, but it wasn't English people. They were Chinese.
Really?
So this is what I first witnessed.
Closer.
Hang on. Oh, pause it, Rich. Why won't you let me?
It's at this point, we've got to love the fact that we're live and that we've got all of our stuff in gear. This is how you know that we're a
Here we go.
completely
I can't slow this down.
No worries.
I can't slow this down.
Okay, one sec. I'm just going to get you back on full screen.
This is the first time you've seen people wearing masks?
Well, first time I've seen Chinese people in Vodafone and Grand Sur wearing masks.
Yeah,
But
I think I've
then
also seen Asians wearing masks.
This here, this is normally like that's parking. So
Yeah.
Right.
Is that
there's
normally packed?
That's a through road. It's normally crammed. You can't find any parking there, especially on a Saturday, man.
So it's like a ghost town.
But when I went, right, so this is the town I'm walking through. It's a lot quieter than it normally is. A lot quieter.
Yeah, yeah.
Like there's normally quite. It's Saturday, man. It's Saturday for crying out loud. I nearly swore then. It's Saturday. It's normally rammed with Canarians and Spanish, and it's normally Canarians and Spanish. You don't get that. You do get English people there, but not so many.
So yeah, it's
Canarian,
normally heaving
Spanish,
with people.
Dutch, German. It's normally heaving with people, especially when the weather's nice. And this was in Movie Star. So this girl here is wearing gloves, and she's wearing gloves. I was trying to do it covertly. I was trying to. I didn't want anybody to see that I was.
Like?
That I was
what do
messaging
you like?
them. Yeah. Right, and also see this little girl here. I think this is worth pointing out as well. Little girl there. She must have been 8 years old, and he was buying her an iPhone X. iPhone X have got some of the strongest EMF.
I think
the worst ones.
I think when we look at it,
holding near you or anything really. And if you're an 8-year-old little girl, I would never give my kid, especially an 8-year-old child, an iPhone X. Doesn't matter how much they scream for it. They could have if they had to have a phone, I'd find the one that had the
you'd be surprised, Rich. There's a lot of kids in primary school. Even when my son was at primary school, they had like newer phones than even I have. Like nowadays, kids have got phones.
Rox, when I'm at work singing to people, there's kids sat everywhere, and there's lads sat there with iPads in their laps. You know, little girls, 6-year-old girls sat there with iPads in their laps, and I'm just sat there thinking,
this is where we are. That's where society is. That's where society is. People, I'm not my friend, but I have seen when I'm out and about, I've seen parents just letting the devices look after their kids instead of them. There's definitely a lot of that going on, and I think everyone's desensitized to it, Rich, because it's the same at the schools. You just see the parents handing the devices to the kids before they're even out of the gates. Even at the park. To be fair, enough of the kids don't go to the park to play anymore, Rich. They go to the park to sit there all on their phones.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they're all like Sheldon and and Leonard out in the park playing on their things. But yeah, the brain fart. Go on, carry on.
No worries.
It's gone.
No worries. So the one thing I do want to remind everybody is tomorrow is Sunday. I'm going to be at Speaker's Corner in Hyde Park, London tomorrow from midday. As I said, there's a bit of a leak that's come out of Whitehall that says that they're ramping it up a little bit from Monday. I'd like to think I could still go to Speaker's Corner the first weekend of next month. But I'm not at this point just going to assume that it's going to be all right and that social distancing is not going to be some kind of barrier between me doing that. I personally, I'm at this point, I'm going to ask the chat room a question, and I'm going to ask you guys a question. I'm going to try and think about how I word this so it's not misleading. Do you think the general population is at risk from what the news is perpetuating CV19 to be? Or do you think it's when the cards hit the table, it's really just going to be the upper echelons of the elitists that are going to be affected by this. Press 2. So press 1 if you believe it, and press 2 if you don't. What do you think, guys? What's your personal, as we're moving through this now, is your opinion changing? Because I remember we've been talking about it over the last few weeks. What's your opinion on this?
It feels even more like a hoax to me now. I mean, there may be a sickness, but except right at the very beginning, I was scared. Right at the very beginning, when those leaked images came out of China, and it was all these people collapsing and whatever else, and there was one of the bears reached out to me and said, "Yeah, you don't believe that, do you?" I said, I don't know, but I'm hearing that China is suppressing the information, and that made me believe it, because if they're hiding it, then maybe it's real. And also the 14-day incubation is terrifying, because it means anyone could be infected and it would spread invisibly for 14 days. But then they started not saying who was infected and then not naming them. And if it's a 14-day incubation, you need to find every single person who's been in close proximity with that individual. And that pretty much flipped it upside down then. I was like, okay, this is looking a lot like nonsense.
Yeah.
And it's not changing.
What's that?
It feels that
Sorry,
something
it's just an answer. It was the question from WW Ocean. Did I manage to download hand cache? And I'm just saying, yeah, I did. And there it is.
Okay. No
sorry,
worries.
mate.
Sorry,
Go on, carry on.
Sorry.
Noel. Sorry, dude.
Sorry, mate.
No, she wasn't. Nobody was meant to stop. Then you just meant to carry on.
I was pretty much at the end of it anyway. I mean, it's yet to look like a real thing to me. Perhaps soon we'll start knowing people, but even then, I'm going to be kind of skeptical.
I'm way
less.
Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah, I'm exactly where you are. I'm still going to be skeptical, even when I hear through the grapevine that such and such that knows such and such that knows such and such has got it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
It's been like, what James Bond, Tom Hanks. It's just A-listers getting it. Doesn't that sound just incredibly suspicious?
Conveniently.
My dad is 70 years old this year, right? And I think he has underlying health conditions. If my family get back to me and say, your dad's tested positive for CV-19 or for coronavirus or whatever they want to call it,
you can ask for a second opinion.
Then maybe I'll. Well, I still.
If my dad turned around and said he's got it, I'm going to say, "What is it you haven't told me? Do you want to have a conversation with me now?" I'm real talk. I'm talking from my own point of view. That I wouldn't put that on anyone else.
Yeah.
But if my parent told me they had it, I'd say let's have a conversation. Then
basically, I sort of didn't want to say it. I didn't want to say it. I'm glad you said it, but that's what I would say.
No, I've said that to my dad privately as well. I've said that to my dad. My dad knows my full opinion on this, and I've had a conversation with my dad and done this whole if we get to the barrier and you don't get across it, I'm going to want to know why.
I mean, I've got to say,
and you're going to have a conversation with me.
So I don't think for 1 second a member of my family is going to catch this thing. I don't think maybe the coronavirus, maybe, because we all get the coronavirus all the time, because let me remind everybody again, it's the common cold. So we all get that.
So can I ask everybody another question, please? Who is it do you think they're saying's dying? I just want to ask the chat room. They're reporting deaths. Who is it that's dying? I want the question to be answered in the chat room, and I'd like you to both to answer it as well. Who is it that they're reporting's dying then?
It's I'll tell you what, mate. Sorry, I've just had a good message from.
No worries.
From Sonny.
I mean, if it was so say my original fear, I sent you a message right at the beginning, like if I disappear, I didn't kill myself. If it was them just rounding up dissidents, then I'm guessing we would have heard of someone by now. So that does put more weight on your guys' thing that it's a white hat cleanup, because I think by now we'd have some friends who have loud voices could be starting to disappear, right?
I would think like regular working class people would be named. Like we would know that Doris from Walthamstow got it, and Janice from Cricklewood, and someone from Wembley, and maybe someone from Kilburn. Sorry, I forgot to move the camera off you, darling. Sorry about that. Maybe someone from Kilburn, maybe someone
Did you
from
see
Wembley.
me getting uncomfortable?
Yeah, sorry about that. I thought, what's wrong? Oh, that's what's wrong. Sorry. Maybe someone from Shepherd's Bush, maybe someone from Chiswick. I don't know. Maybe someone down the road from me near Feltham. Maybe someone in Kingston. Well, I'll stay away from Richmond and Kingston because that's where I grew up, and I know that. I know that people live there that questionable, especially those that live near the terrace at the top of Richmond Hill. Just saying. I've lived there since I was 4, so I think if you're familiar with that area, you know the people I'm talking about. So
I know the area.
I feel that that's one to watch.
Can I just read this this message out, because this is from my buddy. So
okay, go for it.
Monday is the 16th.
Is it?
The Ides of March.
Yeah.
The date they killed Julius Caesar. Connection? Question mark. I didn't know that, mate.
There were a lot of things with the Friday the 13th yesterday as well, weren't there?
Oh,
like a lot of people, a lot of people saying martial law is probably going to come into effect yesterday, and I think it did in quite a few places.
In quite a few places, you are right. No, I can get to the list in a little bit. I do have a little bit of a list compiled. I can get to that in a second. There is a little bit of a list starting to rack up of places where National Guard has been implemented, and this doesn't look to me as if it benefits elites in any way, shape or form. If I may, I would like to just share something with you all. Tell me if this is a coincidence or not, okay? And please do go ahead. I don't want to do the award speeches because I feel like I might be given some kind of strike for doing that. So if it's okay with you, I'm just going to read a little bit of this out. And if you want to go away and at some point later on re-look at the speech and look how a seemingly kind of bizarre speech actually starts to make sense a little bit when you look at what's recently gone down. Tom Hanks's Golden Globe speech in January, some are saying was some type of coded message. He warned them about what is happening and told them that 3/11, the 11th of the 3rd, would be an extremely important date. And then he announced that he had coronavirus on the 11th of the 3rd. It goes on to say here that Hanks's acceptance speech, and I will share this on my community section so that you can all see. Hanks's acceptance speech at the Globes, January 5th, 2020, was very bizarre. And if taken at face value, but more sense when you read the trade craft /code. Take a look at some of the very odd things that he said in this speech. And I quote, "Sometimes it's 3 a.m. and sometimes it's 11 at night, in which you just have to somehow pull it all together, have faith in what the process is and go there." They've written in bold writing, coincidence that he announced his coronavirus on 3/11 and he mentioned 3 and 11 in his speech. He also went on to say, and I'm just saying in brackets because they're quotes, he said in the speech, and if you go to the speech and look at this transcript, it is there. I wouldn't read this out to you, and I'm urging you to go and look at this because are we saying it's a coincidence? Yes, that guy right there, It says here, a cold the size of Merv Griffin's Jeopardy royalties is another quote. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the cold that is making this happen, quote unquote. You couldn't save it in the lab. How often do you hear celebrities mentioning the word lab in their acceptance speeches? Interesting. Put up with me being away for months and months at a time. That's when he was referring to his family, putting up with him, being away for months and months at a time. He also says the following sort of out of place words, phrases repeatedly throughout the speech, and the times of those wordings have been counted. So hit the mark was mentioned 3 times in his speech. Shot was mentioned 6 times in his speech. Gate was mentioned 9 times in his speech. Go there was mentioned 3 times in his speech. Gate 9 times. It says, as in you have to be on time to get through the gate, and go there. Basically watch the video and he says this phrase with great emphasis every time, to go there. Yeah. Being on time, early, ready, prepared, settled, talks about all of this throughout the speech. Boat, climb aboard, maybe Diamond Princess reference. It says it's clear to us that this seemingly nonsensical speech was actually a speech and that his coronavirus announcement was all part of that plan. But what is their plan? Was this him telling the deep state elite that it's time to go to their bunkers? Or was all the talk about getting through the gate, taking the shot, hitting the mark, some sort of threat? Like they're going to use some kind of retaliation event? Why does he randomly say part of the way through the speech? It was so very much in August. There was no doubt about it. Thoughts on a postcard, please. I thought I'd just share that with you. I will share it in my community section. Thanks for showing that on the camera at the same time, Rich. I just think it's quite coincidental.
Sorry for the shaking all over the place.
No
That's so
worries.
annoying, man.
No worries. No worries. Yeah, I just gates and all of that. I just think why it seemed like such a nonsensical speech at the time, with him getting all emotional and saying so many things that just didn't have any relevance whatsoever to what was actually going on in the room. And there was a few people, I think Dolly was one of them, who said past proves future. That will probably make sense in a little while. And now that we're looking at the day that he announced that he was, you know, retiring, I mean, handing himself in. Oh no, what are they calling it? Self-quarantine. More like handing themselves in. I don't know. Coming out of the public eye. Well, no wonder they've got nobodies that need to say it, because it's only about the celebrities. Why would Jack from down the road who works at Tesco say, "Hi guys, I'm making a public announcement here. I'm self-quarantining to save everybody at Tesco's in Sunbury"? We're not hearing that, are we? We're not hearing the manager of you know, Tesco near Kensington saying, "Guys, I've got to self-isolate. I'm coming out in public." It's just it seems all too, like I said, how many coincidences need to happen before they're mathematically impossible? Again, I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be with us here this evening as we try and report on what's going on as much as we're seeing it. And shout out to everyone else that's a content maker that's trying to give helpful, usable information to people.
Can I just shout out WW Ocean as well?
Yes, of course.
So, you know, WW Ocean said to us about the Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, go on then. I'm going to go and see about this. We'll see. And I've downloaded, you know, bearing in mind, I don't have a bank account or anything. And I've got my PayPal that's not linked to a bank account, so I can use it online to make online purchases anywhere that accepts PayPal. But other than that, I can't draw cash out or anything. And the WW Ocean, I don't know what that means. Bitcoin, BSV, BTC. I don't understand what that means at all.
It's all a bit jargony.
So I don't understand Bitcoin at all. I don't understand Bitcoin at all. But I've downloaded this thing and I've created a.
Good on you, Rich.
I'll show you. I'll show you.
Good on you.
Right?
We've just had our expert join us, by the way. Our expert has just literally
Mr.
joined
Meakin.
us. Yes.
Mr. Meakin, terribly good to see you, sir.
I don't know what
do we not get to see your face?
But do you really want to?
Yeah, you're a handsome bugger, man. Come on.
Oh, look, it's too low.
You're a handsome. Look, there we go. Just tilt that camera down a little bit. See, I'm jealous of your beard, man. If I could grow a beard like that, I'd grow a beard like that, dude.
See, here is our experienced and qualified expert for the panel to give you all some helpful and usable information. What is it you're showing us, Rich?
So this is the thing.
Oh, right.
Hand cash, not AliExpress. Go away. Hand cash, right? And WW Ocean is very kindly. Oh, it's just gone back down again. Okay. So WW Ocean has very kindly got me started with $3, and it's BSV, not BTC. You know, I don't understand what that means or anything. I don't understand. Is this like what I've got? It's part of a Bitcoin and it's worth about $3.
If anyone in the chat room knows some info, give Rich some advice on that, because I have
I'll tell you what, or WW Ocean, if you could like email me or something, or find me on Skype and send me some information about BSV, or maybe I should not be a lazy bastard. Maybe I should just go online and go and find out for myself. Rich, come on, mate. Double, sort it out, buddy. Do your own research, man. Do your own research. Come on.
Yeah, that's good advice.
Sorry.
I'm going to show
WW Ocean, scratch everything I said. Yeah, I'll do my own research. It's all right.
Show the picture that you sent me yesterday, Adam.
You what, mate?
show that picture you sent me?
Yeah. So that's
I
this
don't know.
is.
I don't know whether to laugh or cry, Adam. Can I have permission to giggle, or is it not
Oh,
funny?
crack
Not
up,
a laugh?
mate. I'm prepping for this. So obviously you guys know the doctors are kind of shutting down. Can you share it on screen if you want, full screen? I mean, there.
Yeah.
So that's
Sorry,
one of the young pharmacists who works for us. He's in the UK, and that shop's received. That's it. You got it in focus. It's packs from the government for us to greet the public next week, because obviously I'm a pharmacist, so the GPs won't be having walking open doors. It'll be booked in and doors locked and let in. But from what we're being told, we've just got to stand there on the counter looking like Frankenstein before building his monster. So
You look like you're working in an abattoir or something, man.
Innit? So yeah, that's what's.
Is
So
that
everybody's on lockdown, bar me. I've got to go out there and basically face up to people who potentially do or don't have this. Is the fundamental reality of where I'm facing next week, guys. It's quite an interesting position.
Where do you stand in your feeling?
That's what I was about to ask you. What is your personal feeling on this? Are you all right to share that with us at this stage? Are you able to, given your?
Yeah, I mean, summarize simply, ain't got a freaking clue what's going off. Is the simple thing.
And the most honest as well. I like that.
Yeah, and I don't think any medics do know exactly what's going off. It's a very weird situation that's I've always said not commensurate with the risk. Yeah. From a medical.
Expecting this? Were any of us expecting this, really? The truth seekers. I know some people that came across 201, Event 201. Right? Did you pay any attention to Event 201?
I didn't.
Do you think that Event 201 might happen, but it was somewhere in the distant future, or maybe later on this year? Is anybody as surprised as me that this has just gone boom and it's exploded and it's accelerated exponentially? Just put one in the chat room if you're just as surprised as me.
I think for some of us, were having conversations, as you know, Adam, you came on with us. Some of us were having conversations a couple of weeks ago where we actually said, look, whether the virus is legit or not, whether this CV-19 is actually something that we should all be afraid of, which I personally don't think it is. I do remember feeling very strongly alongside a lot of other people, and you're all out there, you're watching, you're tuned in, you're content making. A lot of people were looking at the border restrictions very early on and seeing freedom of movement being suppressed very early on. And going,
to be fair, just to
validity to the virus, felt that there was validity to the changing way of life where the lockdowns are concerned. And then, Adam, I know you own property in Italy. As soon as I saw it pop off in Italy, I went, oh, hello, hold on.
Well, there's an example. I booked my flights today, mate, for my summer holidays. Prices there, you've been talking about it. Stuff's just gone boom. So I booked my summer holiday. I'm off there. I'm at the same risk there as here. I'm at a lot less risk out there. There's a lot more countryside. But we're talking about the validity of this, and I think one of the issues is the only famous people type case issue. In one of the chats, FE core chats, Dee Dee's surfaced. She's been chilling, hasn't she? But she's come up with 2 deaths she can confirm personally from it. So, of people, of family members that they know, brother-in-laws of a friend of a dad and stuff like that. So there are now appearing to be some traces of reality to it, and that's been it's only Tom Hanks. Don't worry.
I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify as well. I'm not surprised now. I mean, when I'm talking about surprised as I am, I guess I should have said surprised as I was. When it all started kicking off, like a few weeks ago, when me and Rox first started talking about it, then that's what I mean. You know, because I don't think we were expecting it, were we, Rox? So not you're on mute.
You're muted.
You're on mute, babe.
Not on this timeline. I said
No.
I expected them to have this ramped up by the end of summer, not by the end of the month.
Yeah,
like,
October, November time.
It feels like, you know, on Sky Plus when you fast forward it and it goes really quickly. That feels like how the last 2.5 weeks have gone. I thought, well, we'd have months. People would have months to earn wages to start maybe preparing for maybe living differently for a few months, not being hunkered down in a bunker and not being able to survive, but you know, like someone telling you to weather the storm. You know, you're not going to go out in shorts and a t-shirt when someone says it's minus and it's going to be bucketing down and really windy. You're going to change how you dress according to the weather. And I felt like we were being told there's a storm out there and it'll be coming over you come the end of summer. But then we're not at summer yet, and yet, Rich, you've got your last gig tomorrow. Adam, you've just shared with us that regardless whether the country's on a lockdown or not, I will be expected on the front line dealing with people that have said thing that we're not really sure if we even believe in. And Rich is being prevented from earning a living after tomorrow night. That's your last gig for 2 weeks or until you're told otherwise. And we were only here.
I'm not worried, babe.
Oh, no, I know you're all right. I'm talking about the self-evident truth that we're sitting here with it now affecting a couple of lives. End of story.
Actually affecting us. The narrative that is being played out is now affecting each and every one of us. We are all being affected by, whereas a few weeks ago, when we first started talking about it, Rox, it was only pockets of people that were being affected by it, and we were talking about it in the distance. We're all procrastinating and speculating as to what was going to happen. Now we're all being affected by it. Now it's here. What we've been saying is is here.
Well, Morocco stopped flights from 24, and I think actually it's near enough 30 countries now. They've stopped flights into there. Israel's closed its borders down. New Zealand's closed its borders down. Various swathes of Europe shutting their borders down. And sorry, we're not at
Poland's on lockdown. No, I'm not sure Poland's on lockdown, but they're all basically self-isolating in Poland, by through choice.
I'm miffed. I'm at the point now where I'm miffed because we've seen all of these other SARS, Zika, foot and mouth, all of that. Like we were saying yesterday, does that now look like the precursor for this? What was it Ian Lee who said? The play, that what we're seeing now. Is that all the stress?
See, I was thinking about that.
You know?
I was thinking about that last night when I was driving to work and I was listening to our chat, and I was thinking, do you know what? That makes absolute sense. That what they did was they were never going to roll it out massively. They were just seeing what would happen in those little pockets, you know, that, and what the world's reaction to it, what our reaction to it would be. And I think that they were put into a position where they got overconfident. They got absolutely overconfident. They thought, yeah, let's play this card now. And I don't know who it is. I think they accelerated the timeline. I think they accelerated their own timeline because of the Trump elections and the fact that they're getting no ground. They didn't gain any ground with the impeachment. That went nowhere. So they accelerated it. But I think that was part of the plan, that they would do that. They would be put in a position where they were going to go, right, let's just chuck it all at it now. And, you know, make idiots of themselves, basically. And this is where the noose is being tightened. They gave them the rope. They wrapped it around their necks, tied the noose, and now they're just about to go and pull it tight.
Well,
in my humble opinion.
I yield the floor. I feel like I talk too much, so I feel like I'll let Noel go next. I'm just seeing it almost unfolding by the hour, Noel. It's every hour I'm hearing of another country that's shut down, another border that's closed. Norway's closing all of its ports. Sorry. Norway is closing all of its ports as of Monday. There's shipping lanes internationally shutting down all over the place. Cruise ships being stopped with passengers not being told a thing. They just sat there like sitting ducks, waiting for military helicopters to do stuff overhead that they're being told one thing and it's another thing. As I said, I think it remains to be seen what's good for the UK. I'm going to try and update everyone tomorrow on what I'm hearing on my end of things. But Whitehall has leaked some of the bits and pieces they're looking to implement as of next week. And that to me just seems to be following a pattern of other governments that kind of piss up everyone's back and tell them it's raining. No, we're not going to cancel everything. 2 hours later, it's cancelled. So I really am. I'm just, I think it remains to be seen. I think it's one of those ones. Let's see. I'm of the optimist, and I respect everybody in the chat room that's of the optimist. But like Adam said, for those that have underlying medical conditions, it is going to affect them when they go to their local GP and it's shut down due to this malarkey, and they have to go to someone like Adam, as if Adam's their doctor, and then I know my mum would not have been able to handle that. My mum was already approaching 70 and quite out of sorts if even the slightest thing was out of place. So for GP surgery to be shut down, this is one time where we really do need to reach out to our community. If you've got neighbours down the street and you don't see any friends or family visiting them, this is probably the time that you can reach out into your community and see if your fellow neighbours need help.
Yeah, well said, Rox. Well said, mate. That's really important. Whether you
even the online shopping situation, I've got an elderly couple next door and they cannot get their shopping delivered for love nor money. So I ran down the shop and I got them their bits and pieces, and they're grateful. And but it made me
my sister.
Wider problem. It made me think of the wider problem. I'm urging, even if you're a Sainsbury's manager or a Tesco's manager, or if you can speak to people about this, all of you, if you know people that are managers of shops and they do things via protocol, sometimes break the protocol. I know that in my local Sainsbury's in Richmond, the manager, he actually will help the elderly in the area. He will take the shopping to them himself and do the transaction there at the door and then bring it all back and then deliver their receipts. You don't have to do everything by the book to help people. You don't have to stop yourself from helping people because it's not been done by the book. Not everything has to be
Go that extra mile.
The extra mile.
The book's designed to stop you helping people, Rox.
Exactly. So I think just be aware in your local community and try and see if there is any vulnerable spots. And if you can utilize yourself in any way, and it might be just, cooking dinner and sharing out an extra bit for your neighbors who might not be able to do for themselves because people have rinsed the shops. I, as a single mum, I only just wanted to buy a couple of packs of extra pasta, a bit of UHT milk to go in the cupboard, just a bit of stock, not panic. But there is people that I know that can't even just go and get normal stock because everyone's bought 100.
I love that you're saying this, Rox, because this is basically what I was saying the other day, isn't it? About what type of person are you? If you've got stuff, what sort of person are you? The sort of person that's just going to help yourself, or are you just going to help yourself and your family and your friends, or are you just going to help anybody near you that needs help?
That's something that Dolly chimed on the other day, like you did. It's about that frequency of being, positive.
If we all help each other, if everybody goes out there wanting to help one another, then somewhere along the line I'm going to be helped by somebody who wants to help me, and I'm trying to help other people. If we all help each other, man, this is what they didn't want. This is what they don't want. This is what they did their best to destroy.
Yeah, Miss Time on the screen there, Rich, she's just put that quite aptly. I've heard the same reports. I live in West London, and already there's such a backlog of home deliveries that the elderly, infirm, and those that can't get out otherwise are now vulnerable. If you work with a food bank charity, if you're watching this and there's something you can do in your community, start doing some outreach. There's nothing wrong with, canvassing an area and knocking doors and just checking everyone's all right when it gets to that point. I'm not saying now, but if you're, I always think if you help someone along your way, then your living will not be in vain. And so, if someone asks a question, answer. If someone asks for help, try and help them, because this is how we'll grow. As I've said many, many times before, there's absolutely no more room in this reality for arrogance and self-importance. Because like Adam said, like a lot of people say, I have no idea really what's going on. It's my best guess. But then that's where we got into the trouble with the globe lie, isn't it? With the radius, that was their best guess. So, you know, I think all we can do is just try and be kind and think about the next person as much as ourselves.
Even if it is a hoax, Rox, the worst that comes out of it is you've shown a bit of love to your neighbours. You know, so
right. Yeah.
now the time for me that, you know, I say it doesn't matter what happened. You know, you've got people around you that if you are able-bodied and a little bit savvy, you can have a positive impact on people that actually are housebound and sat in, and all they've got to know what's going off is that goggle box. And I think we've all got tales of the old folks that are absolutely petrified about what's going off because they are very isolated informationally, and it's only what the state gives them. And if that's all you had, imagine what you do think's going off. And you know, I think opportunity for people.
Valid point. I appreciate that, Adam. If you could, in your opinion, give I just would like a quick kind of soundbite synopsis of, in your opinion, in your expert opinion, in everything that you've known in your life, and I know that you've even helped your family overcome illness, and we've obviously spoken about the CBD and endocannabis. We know we've had you on. And by the way, now that you're here, I just want to tell you in person, I've managed to salvage it and get it back. I'm now editing it so that I can re-upload it without it getting copied.
Excellent.
So
man.
Again, because it's valuable information, that Adam. And
show that.
said, you're long in the tooth with this, Adam. You've done the job that you've done for a long time. You've had a lot of situations that have come up, and that's why I'm asking, in your opinion, what helpful, usable information would you give your loved ones moving through the next 7 to 10 days?
Yeah, chill out. Don't panic. Yeah, man. I mean, seriously, if you, first and foremost, if you are asked to stay at home and self-isolate, what's there to worry about? You know, even if you haven't got 1,500 bog rolls, 10 ton of pasta, you know,
it'll be all right.
Think of it. Yeah, think of it as the Corona plan diet, where you lose a couple of pounds that week. You know.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what, Adam? I just want to mention that, right? Because the link to that is, everybody goes on about
33-year-old guys. Look, another case concerns a 33-year-old Maltese man who went to Dublin, Ireland between March the 7th and the 10th. He began manifesting symptoms one day before he returned to Malta on March the 9th. And Rich is just showing us about the Irish Guards being released as of 8 a.m. Monday.
That's really, you know, there's a lot of chatter going off.
None of these people are named.
Yeah, none of the people are named. We're just
none of these people are named.
Things that are fishing around.
Just a 33-year-old man. That could mean a 33rd degree level Freemason for all we know.
Yeah, well said, Adam and the guys. There's a lot of stuff going around. There's a lot of fear mongering and propaganda going around.
There's a lot of conspiracy about the timings of when people are being locked down, and just look, this has to be sold to the medics, and there is sense behind it that I can understand in terms of what's trying to be achieved by this dilly-dallying, waiting, delay, and it's stuff like that. They're trying to figure out. I think they realise that you're only going to lock people down for so long, and it's only going to be tolerated for so long. So it's a matter of, from an epidemiology point of view, timing it, and that is individual country based as to when this kind of is most effective to occur. If we are dealing with something that has the potential, even though its mortality rates are low, it does have the potential to cause significant damage, and that's the bit I just want to probably just finish on, and that's, what is this damage that it could cause? Why are the governments so scared? And I think the reality is it's a limitations of the amount of respiratory care that any medical system is able to provide. The hospitals are great at providing diverse solutions to lots of medical problems. What they're not great at is dealing with massive intake of one particular problem. And whilst a lot of it could be eased with just oxygen, there are cases, particularly the more vulnerable, where respirators are being required. Now, you know, that's been the case from day one, and that's been from my understanding, the concern from the medical teams. And that, to me, is the underlying cause why the medical teams are reacting in the way they're doing. And under that advice, you know, you can see how medics are happy that the government's responding to their advice. So there's a lot of buy-in here that comes from professional egotism, and it just requires the correct set of criteria to get you the correct output. So I'm not suggesting it's real or it isn't real. It's kind of, to me, what's portrayed to the medics is clearly sensible, logical. It isn't scaring people, but there is a rationale that's being portrayed to us that I'm not going to use the phrase justifies this level, because it really doesn't. But the way it's being portrayed to me is not that we can't cope with it, it's that we can't afford to cope with it. It's a lack of physical equipment and investiture that we don't have. So that's the mitigation as to why medics aren't saying this is absolute nonsense statistically and from a mortality rate, how it's being sold to us. It's that caring about the small percentage that multiplied out would actually mean quite a high mortality rate playing out. I think if it played out like a similar other coronaviruses, and it's this novel component that's the scary thing, the post-clearance respiratory clogging that occurs, that seems to be the scare factor, you know, the thing that's been portrayed as the issue we have to deal with. And I think we all understand the rate at which, you know, common coronaviruses spread very much more quickly than your standard flu. Okay, and that is kind of why it's being dealt with. There is sensibleness to medics in terms of what we're being told, in terms of what the threat we're being dealt with. Now, that being said, what's strange is the other forms of mitigation that are occurring, the preparedness of financial institutions, and the very straight at the financial preparations and this is kind of where I'd probably go a little bit towards the Q side. You know, people are being protected in some ways. It's very odd for governments to come and try and protect small businesses. That's the kind of the main positive point.
That's what I want to mention there as well. The small business owners, self-employed, and people on benefits were the people that were given the provisions first in government. Before they started talking about the lockdown, anything, they started talking about universal credit. How are people going to survive? How are people going to weather this? How are people that have got small businesses that this is going to massively hit? Like, it's like they've been given a menu and gone, oh, everyone here is going to be allergic to that. We're going to have to do something about that because, yeah, we're not equipped for that. Our country's going to fall on its ass. Crap. And then I've just heard that the President of the United States of America is talking about relieving everyone paying tax on their earnings, labor. He's saying it's enough's enough. Can't keep taxing people on their labor. We should definitely scrap it until Christmas and then talk about it after then. So he's even talking about every American citizen not being taxed on their labor at all and looking to scrap it altogether. He's just gone on record within the last 24 hours saying it. And I've always been taught that if they sneeze, we catch a cold. So I feel like if, you know, it sets a precedent, doesn't it? It's like someone getting their loft done on your street. If they're the first person to do it, normally everyone else's planning permission can go through a little bit easier once one's been pushed through. So I feel like the world would be watching that. The world would be going, sorry, why does one country not get taxed on their labor and we do? Well, I'm not fucking paying up for that. I'm not taxing me on my labor if they're not getting taxed. I feel like the only reason we all put up with things is because the vast majority of people have to put up with it. Only when we see that people don't have to put up with things, we kind of go, wow, quality of life and all that. Do I have to live like this? Why do I have to live like this and they don't? I feel like it all can't be a coincidence that all of this is happening, guys. It all just feels like it's culminating to something that's much bigger than what we're being informed about just now. And I don't think it's to harm us. I really don't. I really think this is going to end up, we're not going to know right now in this situation until we're looking back at it, how this has gone down. I feel like we're not going to
my view 1875, I had no idea. Roger Daltrey's in on this as well. I didn't even know Roger Daltrey was still alive.
He just did
Sorry,
an interview.
My little injection of humor there.
Oh,
if anyone got it.
He did
Sorry,
big,
actually, Sonny. Sorry, mate. I wasn't taking the piss then. I'm sorry.
He did an interview on Fox, I think. No, Carter. He was on talking about Julian Assange the other day, actually. It's a really weird interview, actually. It was really weird. I don't know if anyone else saw it. I was a bit kind of like taken aback by some of the things he was coming out with. Yeah, shout out for whoever knew that, because they are getting involved. No, did you go to say something there? No? Okay. Sorry, I thought I was talking over you again. But yeah, I feel like we can't be looking at this whole situation. People were saying a few months ago, well, once I see a few big characters walking away from their money, might start buying into it. Is Bill Gates enough?
Bill Gates? Anybody?
Just
hey, Bill.
away.
Why did you walk away from it? You could have given me some of that, Bill.
He was like, I don't even want a pen. Done. Walking away.
Yeah, in fact, look, I think this tie came out of the. You can get this tie as well.
It's I feel like you can.
Who walks away from that?
Out of nowhere, just walks away completely. I'm done. I'm out of the business. I quit. What do we make of that? Is that just another coincidence? I just feel like we're
funny that Bill Gates funded Event 201, which was the disaster simulation of the coronavirus.
What do we think about that? I feel like, again, these are all things that are eventually going to lead everyone to the conclusion that, oh right, it's not a coincidence. Marjorie down the street who works at Tesco's is not going to be coming out into the news saying I've self-quarantined, guys.
I've seen all these training vids and that, and how do you think as guys prepare? This is training material. There's a lot more boring crap than that particular one, but that's how stuff actually does occur in the multitude of bullshit meetings that go off and stuff. That didn't strike me when I watched it as anything conspiratorial. It struck me as the standard sort of thing, and that's the trouble with corona. It's such a generic term that you can appreciate being used in other situations. I don't see anything too conspiratorial in that. I think they're just things that you will be able to dig up that don't mean anything either way. All the epidemiology teams in the UK will have had similar type scenarios, playing Dungeons and Dragons with it all the time. It's their job.
You're right. I this is what I love about having this kind of diverse conversation, especially with not everybody being on the same page in the chat room as well. I love how everyone's having the interactions and keeping it civil.
I just saw somebody say, hi RFB, is Richie from Boston in here?
I don't know. If
there was a hi RFB.
Much respect.
Yeah, massive respect.
Much respect, Richie. Where's he gone?
I don't. Don't know. Is
much respect, and he's gone like that.
Yes, he is live. Nice. I'm rocketing across the USA. Shout out to Richie from Boston who's tuned in. Thank you so much for being here.
Richie's right. On yours, not in mine. He's not in mine.
He's in mine. Yeah,
Rich, man, Rich. Please come over to my channel. Come out. Just come and give a shout out on my channel to my chat room. I've only got like 11 people in there.
Much respect to Richie.
Yeah, big time. Richie, you've just literally come in the chat room as we're about to wrap up. We've been going for just over an hour, But you're all here in time to hear the next time we'll be going live. We will be aiming to go live at about 6:30 tomorrow, same time, GMT. I will also be live streaming from Hyde Park, London, Speaker's Corner tomorrow from about midday GMT. So if you're on the East Coast,
You're going to
of
want to go to
America,
sleep, aren't you? Tonight, you're going to want to go to sleep so you can get up fresh and early. But I might actually go live when I get back from work tonight, because I've got a couple of things I want to talk about. An email from Bernice talking about the trolls that we had last year and stuff.
Oh.
So I just want to update some people on some things.
Nice. So Rich will be live later on tonight, and as I said, I'll be live streaming from about midday onwards tomorrow till about 4, 5 o'clock. Then I'll be heading home, and then I will be going live when I get home to update everybody on what's been going on. You'll be able to see some of the.
You're going to go on. You're not going to be able to go live on my channel. Like, it's not going to be a multi-stream, is it?
Only when I get home. Yeah, only when I get home. I can only do from my phone when I'm there. Yeah, yeah. So
it's just because you put the comment in my chat, and you come out as me on my chat, don't you? So everybody, so just to my chat, it's not going to be. That's not going to be live on my chat. It's going to be live on Roxanne's channel tomorrow. The Speaker's Corner.
Lovely jubbly. Yeah, so I'll be streaming live for about 4.5 hours tomorrow from Speaker's Corner. You guys can interact in the chat room. I will try and involve you as much as I can in the conversations. I'll be talking to them about the fact that we've been lied to about where we live. We've been lied to about who we are. We've been lied to about how we got here. We've been lied to about all of the things that the MSM has been. I'm basically going to take all of these subjects.
We've been lied to about the coronavirus.
Yeah, we've been lied to about it all. I'll get a good few people's, take on things as well when I'm out there. Let's see how many people are there. Let's see if they're masked up. Let's see if everyone's bought into it. We've heard from the online community. Tomorrow afternoon, we're going to hear from this community out on the streets. We're going to try and speak to as many people as possible. So make sure you tune into that at midday tomorrow, GMT. And we will be back again at 6:30 tomorrow, GMT. We've also got a 3-parter interview that we are currently editing and working through, which is
incredibly excited. Incredibly excited for you guys to see, man. You're not going to believe who we've spoken to.
Yeah, Noel, if you are
he's
available,
a public figure.
Yeah, Noel, if you're available for the next one, definitely come in on the next one if we can line it up. It might be around the same time.
Next Friday, man. Next Friday.
Yeah. Next Friday might be the next 3 parts that we record,
This gentleman is
Marley,
I'll be free for sure. Just last night I was dead by.
Oh, Daddy first. Daddy call first all the time.
Daddy first. Always Daddy first.
She's in a very, very exhausting age.
Yeah.
But just a little teaser. This guy is a public figure that was recognized by the President of the United States. When was it, Rox?
I think just over a week ago now. 2 weeks ago.
Just over a week ago. In sat down at a table with him and prayed with him and was recognized in front of him.
He's done a lot of work. He's done a lot of
very
work.
Excited. He's done a lot of work.
We can kind of analogize it a little bit to the same kind of awareness work that we've done for getting people to question what they've been taught. He's done a lot of footwork. He's been out in the community. He's done a lot of selfless, a lot of selfless efforts.
He's an educated, hardworking, extremely respectable, he's an extremely respectable man,
and he's awake.
And he's awake.
Oh, he's awake.
And he's got integrity. This guy has got integrity.
Massive. He blew me away with some of the things that he said in that interview. I was absolutely, in fact, I was actually reduced to tears, but not tears of I don't know.
You were?
It was very strange. It was
the energy.
Strange.
It was the energy, Rox.
I became mince at one point. I had to literally pull myself together.
She did. I can testify to that. You'll see that in the interview. You're not going to cut that, are you?
I don't know, Rich. I don't know.
The thing is, Rox, I know that feeling. It's just pure emotion.
Yeah.
It's like when something, it doesn't matter what it is. It's something about the situation or what's said or what you've seen or what you smell or what you feel. Just something, the emotion wells up so much that you cannot stop it. The tears just start pouring out of your eyes. It happens to me, man. Yeah. It happens to me. I'm not embarrassed to say it. It happens to me.
Very interesting happens. I will give you a teaser. When he mentioned Space Force.
That was it, wasn't it then? Wasn't it around then?
world just
British
literally
Day as well.
stopped. Everything stopped for me. It's like I got moved into a different like realm altogether. I am thinking with regards to the interview, I may properly edit it, but there's bits that I'm looking at it where I'm actually going, you know what, for authenticity.
I don't think I'll be honest with you.
There was
I'll be really honest with you, Rox.
Needs
I'll be really honest with you, right? At the end of the interview, if there had been anything that he, if there had been anything that he'd said that he thought, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that, he would have said it. He would have said to us, can you just maybe look at that? But at the end of the interview, he said very pointedly, he said, you can share anything, man. I'm going to send you some more pictures and you can share it all. So I'll be honest with you, babe. The only thing that you need to do is split that video into 3. That's really what you need to do.
First, we're just going to split it into 3 parts, which will be an hour each, and we will give them to you straight as they are. Obviously, we'll overlay them with the supporting source of material that we've got for the bits and pieces that we're going to show you. And yeah, we will try and work that into the next 7 days in some kind of usable time. Obviously, with you being international viewers, there's never really a right time for me to premiere something or to go live. I feel like it's a bit hit and miss, and I'm not going to be able to be on at the right time for everybody. So I think we'll try and do things before Rich goes to his gig, because obviously Rich wants to be in the chat room when we premiere things. It's a bit pointless to premiere when Rich is playing a gig and he can't be there to interact with you. So we'll work it out.
Hang on. Are you talking about a premiere on Sunday?
I'm saying moving forward, what we'll do is we'll throw it out to the chat room and we'll give everyone some multiple options.
Babe, moving forward, I'm not going to be working.
Oh yeah.
Moving forward, I'm free every evening.
Everyone's not on the same timeline. Your evening, someone else's 4 o'clock in the morning.
What I'm saying is, from Sunday, I'm available 24 hours a day.
Good. Lovely, jubbly.
Okay? I'll just let everyone of you know that. From Sunday, I'm available 24 hours a day. If I'm asleep and you can wake me up, good luck. But I'll speak to you.
Is it going to be 0024/7 then?
Oh, I like it. Or it could be 0077 because it's 7 days a week and I was born in 77.
What are you like? Now you've got his mind ticking on that. So now I can't remember what I was saying. What was I saying now? What was I saying? I'm wrapping up. Either way, I'm wrapping up. I will be back with Rich tomorrow at 6:30. Rich may be later on. I'll also be in Hyde Park Speakers Corner, London tomorrow from midday onwards. I will pop that in my community section. I will share it on my Instagram. I will share it everywhere. Noel, what are you up to for the next 48 hours? What's your 48 hours looking like?
Well, I'm on lockdown, so yeah, not much. Probably go buy some more water tomorrow, stare at my walls, try to entertain my
dude. If you get bored and you want a chat, I'll mind you. By the time I finish work, you'll be in bed. But moving forward, if you want to chat and have a jam, maybe discuss music or what, maybe you might have some lyrics or something that you could give me, because I've got loads of music and no lyrics. No, I don't know. But where's she?
I'm similar to you in that one. Lots of music, no lyrics. She's picking her nose.
Oh, I think we discussed that, didn't we? I think we discussed that the other day. I remember. Yeah.
We must have done. Oh no, that sounds good, guys. I think you should do that at some point. You should jam. You should definitely do that. What? Yeah, I missed that. What's your other than being on lockdown? Are you available if anything comes up now? Because I've got some bits and pieces for part time.
Literally all work is stopped on the island, so I'm not working. There's no school for Mali, so I'm seldom 10 meters away from this room.
Okay. Well, we'll be in touch.
Think about the quality time. Quality time, people. Think of all this
That's
quality
it.
time that we
That's
are being
exactly.
given. You now have the time to research these things. And all that time that was taken away from you because you were so busy running the hamster wheel,
This is what
trying
Dolly
to pay
was
those
saying,
bills,
Yeah.
right? This is out of your hands now. So you might as well just go, do you know what? I'm going to bury my head into finding out what's going on. I'm going to go and look at some of these things that these people are talking about.
Dolly was saying it
Look
as well.
with more
So many
detail.
distractions are going to be removed now. All of these distractions are going to be removed. It was quite laughable. Me and Dolly were having a bit of a giggle today. A lot of men didn't know what to do with themselves today. Do you know why? Football was cancelled.
Oh, right, yeah.
Football was cancelled.
Oh, yeah.
Never applied to me.
I had a friend of mine that phoned me up and they said, it's just so weird. I don't really know what to do with myself. And I was like, why? And they were like, there's no football. I said, I'm sure, I'm sure there's times when there's like Saturdays, there's like no football, and then they're talking about Conference, League One, League Two, and it's just it's all done. Like the crowds, the football, the bread and circus is coming to an end, and I think that was something that me and Dolly did find. It was laughable. It was just I had a lot of people bitch, moaning, complaining to me before midday, all about football not being on. All about the football. Football's been cancelled. Football's been cancelled. Football. I had a few messages from a few awakened people as well going, no football. And I was like, wow, you're awake. You're awake and you complain about no football. Really? Okay, so even your nearest and dearest muggles are having some of their bread and circuses removed and going, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to actually talk to people in my house. I don't know what to do. I think there's probably a comedy skit waiting there somewhere.
I came up with a cunning plan. I got all the family together and we went out and played football.
You got the family to do the football. Adam, what you like.
Brilliant.
No, yes.
That's the way to do it.
I love my football. I as you know, I go with my son to watch for him to play the as you say, the cathedrals of the modern age. I don't think there's anything wrong. I'm a Forest fan. I'm a Forest fan, so there's no entertainment in it for me, or even pleasure. So, do you know what I mean? I think being aware of the world around you, you don't necessarily have to ignore it. So I only get suffering from it, so I don't. But it's the important thing I think is like you say, it again. You see, Rox, it lends to social control. This, one of the biggest. I alluded to it. The cathedrals of the new world is the football stadiums. It's how the masses are entertained. And again, if you are being positive in your viewpoint, it's very interesting that they would shut those, not even play it behind closed doors, actually take away the entertainment, and it's not like football isn't used to playing games behind closed doors. They did it a little bit this week, but they've shut the entertainment down for the masses, and I think you hit a good point. Maybe it is multiple repeats of Love Island people fall back to, but who knows? But I think it's a good.
Go and watch Lost.
I think this is definitely one to watch. We'll definitely see how the next few days and weeks pan out, and we'll try and keep everyone as up to date as possible. And I want to just thank you all for joining us. Adam, Noel, thank you so much for joining us this evening, and to the chat room as well. We can't thank you enough for all of your wonderful interactions in the chat room, helpful, usable information that people can then go away and look into. And I feel that to me is a comfort to me. It's a comfort to me that people know that there's no need to panic, despite what the narrative is giving people. I for one, I'm very optimistic about that.
I want to make another observation as well, because as far as I can see, I haven't had my eye on the chat room, I have to say, so I'm not sure how much work the moderators have had to do. But
I haven't seen any horrendousness in front of me, I'll be honest with you.
If we do have any of the channels in that normally in the past have been, doing whatever, the trolls, and you're sat there and you're not saying anything because you're actually, maybe now finally you're starting to think we're not talking a load of crap. We have got our eyes on what's going on, and we're not trying to spread disinfo or anything. We're trying to provide a bipartisan observation of what's going on. I mean, if you are there and you're keeping quiet, don't be afraid to say something constructive, man. Because it doesn't matter what's happened in the past. It doesn't matter what you've done in the past. If your mindset has changed, if you accept that what you were doing before was just divisive and it wasn't constructive, it was just doing more harm than good, and none of us deserved it. If you can accept that and move on, and then man, we could be friends.
Sorry, I
don't hold grudges. I don't hold grudges with people, unless they want to. If they want to keep something going, I'll keep it going. But if I'm quite happy to just let go of stuff, man, and move on.
Yeah.
Move on. It's all about now. It's all about now and what we do from now.
Correct. And I think that's a good way to end it tonight. We'll end it on a positive note. So if you can't do anything else, just be kind, be considerate, and just stay in the light with that respect. Just try not to just be negative and condescending and pessimistic. I think.
Don't let the cheeky monkeys take control, man. Don't let the cheeky monkeys push you into doing anything.
Correct. Wonderful.
That's all they are. They're just cheeky monkeys.
Guys, is there anything you'd like to say before we wrap up? No? Is there anything you'd like to say?
Thank you, peace-loving criminal. I'm not sure why I'm being thanked, but it's my pleasure.
Aww, nice one. Adam, anything you want to say before I wrap up?
No, I've talked enough, but other than thanks for having me, guys. It's always fun to be here. So
thanks for coming on again, mate. It's really good to speak to you. I like I find your voice comforting. I can't explain it. It's just very comforting. It's like I've known you for a long time. So it's good. It's good to hear you. And I'm really excited about digging the weed the people out and getting that on, and
big time.
Seeing the testimony.
That was a good chat.
Very excited about that. It was a very good chat, mate. You were one of our best guests.
Oh my goodness. By far.
You'll get me pushing like Roxanne. No, you'll get me well into stuff.
I'm telling you. Well, I'll move on to the chat room before we finish off. I want to give a shout out to Sunmal, Martin Leadcar. Oi, lovely to see you. 5 artists as well, still in the chat room.
Martin Leadcar's here. Yeah, He's Martin legendary.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Love that guy. Martin, I have been pushing your stuff for a long time, mate.
There you go. Noel Harry Watson is on Instagram as well, Martin. I will message you on Instagram and give you Noel's profile so that you can follow him, and you can follow you probably follow him on Instagram anyway, don't you, Noel?
Sorry.
By the way,
I do have an Instagram. Yes. Yes, Rich.
Yeah, I was just going to say. By the way, my Instagram is not private, and you don't have to get permission to follow me now. So I don't really use Insta. I'm still getting into. Wait, it's 00.7, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
00.7. I'll pop the link in the description.
00.7.
I'll put the link in the description. Yeah.
And can you put my Bitcoin link in the description as well, just in case anybody's got Bitcoin or hand cash or whatever, you never know.
No worries. Maggie Ray, lovely to see you in the chat room as well. Kieran, Martin, Ellen, and Miss Chime, thank you so much for being here. Jesse, Red Eye Jedi, shout out to you. Thank you so much for being here. Jane of Torquay and Peace Loving Criminal, lovely to see you. Martin, Ellen, Tony Tiger, Rakia Life, lovely to see you as well. Feather Bear, still in the chat room, lovely to see you.
Feather Bear, we love the Bears.
Lunderground, as I said, I'll be at Speaker's Corner tomorrow, so if you want to pop on through, it'd be great to see you. Ninja Man in the chat room as well, lovely to see you too. Vertex in the chat room, Reverend Hull still in the chat room, Truth Seeker and Astral Thief, lovely to see you too. And further down, Claire Emma in the chat room too, lovely to see new names in the chat room, really like that. Thanks so much for tuning in. Steve Bally as well, Sean Becker, lovely to see you guys.
I don't think Claire's that new. I think Claire's been around for a little while.
I've not seen that name.
I recognise Claire's name. I recognise Claire's name.
Amanda Panda as well, lovely to see you too. And the Steermark Rah Rah Rah, lovely to see you as well. Thank you so much.
Rah Rah Rah.
I hope I haven't missed anyone out. Just double check. Leighton Stones, thank you so much for tuning in. One Walking Life, Lovely to see you in the chat room as well. Just scrolling down. Dolly Daydream still in the chat room. Lovely.
Dolly.
And Christopherson. Yeah, I'm just going to say Christoph because I don't want to muller the whole name. Lovely. Major Face Palm as well. Lovely to see you too. Joe Mama, Mystical, Dividante, Zalmoxis, and just further up the list there. Did I miss that one?
I love that name, Major Face Palm.
Flat Earth British
that,
think tank as well. Lovely to see your
Flat
name
British
in the chat room too. So yeah, I think that just about does it for this evening. Peter Jackson as well. See you there in the chat room. That just about does it for this evening. We will be back at the same time tomorrow after my Speaker's Corner escapade. We'll be back here at 6:30 tomorrow evening GMT. And before that, you can tune in to me at Hyde Park, London, Speaker's Corner from midday onwards for a few hours. I'd love to see as many of you there as possible. So if you can get to London, I'll be there from midday. Other than that,
and you can tune in to me later on tonight, 12:30 GMT, 0030.
Perfect. Well, other than that, it's good night from Adam Meakin, Noel Harry Watson, Mr. 007, and myself and you guys in the chat room. You've been absolutely awesome. Until tomorrow. Bye-bye. Adios.